When there's a bill submitted or you are all discussing a bill that's redundant, is that obvious and it's just kind of like thrown out?
Yeah, it's not automatically thrown out.
Okay.
Sometimes legislators do get together after the fact and kind of combine them. That can happen.
Okay.
But oftentimes there's a public hearing for 4 bills if they're similar or the same. Those happen at the same time, and then there's separate votes on each of those bills. And so that's where, with a little talking to each other and coordination, maybe you could have 1 instead of 4. But for multiple reasons, that doesn't typically happen.
Are there bills that get passed into law where there's already a law that says that? Like, can that happen?
There's usually research done. So the office that writes the bills, let's say I have an idea for a bill. I've had many ideas for bills. Let's say I have an idea for healthcare price transparency. That's a bill that I put forward previously. I would communicate to the revisor's office before the deadline for bills and say, I want to submit this bill. I want it to be around healthcare price transparency so that Maine has to abide by the federal rules. And if we don't, then the consumer, like you know, if you had gone to a hospital and they hadn't followed the transparency rules, you would be able to take action. I want Maine citizens to be able to take action and say, have recourse if these rules aren't followed. So the revisor's office would then research and figure out where the law is on that issue right now, and then they would craft the bill that I want to put forward, bearing in mind current law and crafting it so that it would amend current law if passed.
Okay. That seems like a really hard position because you have to be bipartisan.
Yeah, the revisor's office, the office that writes the legislation, is supposed to be nonpartisan, and they do have to consider current law. So those 2,000 bills, those 2,200 bills, those all, even if a legislator brings model legislation, so that's legislation that's already kind of written, it has to be rewritten based on Maine laws, like it has to be customized to Maine laws. And so all of those 2,000 plus bills have to come through the revisor's office, be written or rewritten by that office. It's an immense amount of work.
I would
So if you
imagine.
think about every one of those bills is a lot of cost to the Maine taxpayer because of all of the offices that are involved with writing and processing these bills.
Yeah.